Growing up, I was always a very optimistic kid. I just had a very positive outlook about life, which may sound crazy given some of the stories I've been telling you, but it's true. I did, and I still do. I just felt like no matter what it looked like, no matter how impossible things looked, life was going to work out. It just was. It was going to be okay. Then I got into my 20s and my 30s, and I would have those days that we all have where you're exhausted and you're worn out and things are hard and things do look impossible. And on top of that, sometimes it was my own doing. It was my own fault. It was my own choices. And I would have that voice still in one ear going, man, it's going to work out. It's going to be fine. But then I started to have this other voice. It would say, it's going to work out, huh? What about your mom? Didn't work out for her. I mean, her greatest overwhelming fear in life was growing old alone without a husband. That's exactly what happened. And she basically, for all intents and purposes, drank herself to death. So, what about your mom? And it was hard. It was a very personal, glaring example that I couldn't ignore. It was completely true. It was a giant hole in my whole everything is going to work out theory of life. And I struggled with it for a lot of years because I didn't have an answer for it. Then one day, when I was having one of those days, that voice said, what about your mom? And this other voice that I will call God, because it said something I had never thought of, I would never say to myself in that moment. I had never said to myself. That voice said, Scott, you are not your mother. It was a life-changing moment for me. In those few words, he told me that just because I was her son didn't mean that my life was going to go the way her life went. That my path was her path. That my outcome was her outcome. That I had my own story. That probably sounds obvious to everybody else, and it looks obvious to me now. But before that moment, it wasn't. I am not my mother.